Exhaust materials. There's stainless steel, there's titanium, and there's Inconel. I'm at a point where I just prefer stainless at this point, but if I wanted to be unique, then perhaps brass is a fun alternative. I don't know how much of an effect the material of an exhaust system can really have on the overall sound of a car. I think things like the use of X pipes, H pipes, or various header designs are what really matter. But this video by OEM Plus Resto, in which they install a brass system onto a 330 Ci, a nice little car, definitely not biased or anything, and it looks kind of cool. Sounds neat too. And while I was watching this video and doing a little research for this episode, in case you're wondering, brass is an alloy of zinc and copper, not copper and tin, which is bronze. I sometimes get those confused for some reason. I wonder if brass is durable enough for use in a sports car's exhaust system. Otherwise, you know, for those more kind of out there cars, I feel like it would be getting used a lot more on bespoke exhaust systems. Or perhaps there's more value in brass being used for musical instruments, or perhaps ultimately it's just a waste of copper or something. I don't know. There's a reason why it's not being done, and I just am not knowledgeable enough to give an educated guess as to why cars don't have brass exhaust systems. It could be cost, could be durability, maybe it's really not that malleable or something. I don't know. They make instruments out of it, so that's a dumb argument. I don't know. Big trucks. They're always fun, as long as they're not driving behind you, riding your bumper, despite the fact you're already going like 20 over the limit or something, and there's no passing lanes. Either way, Donut Media, or otherwise recently known as Donut, posted a video covering every F-Series Ford truck from the F-150 all the way up to the F-750, which I didn't even know existed. Frankly, I was only aware of the F-150, the 250, the 350, and the 450. Everything after that they show in this video is madness, and honestly, once you pass a certain threshold, I feel like you should just get like a Freightliner or something, or just an actual semi-truck. It just seems a bit overkill, but you know, it's a neat product. Because my understanding is when you buy these trucks, it just comes with the cab and like the frame with no bed on it. But like, imagine like buying an F550 and putting just like a regular pickup truck bed on it or something. Just driving yourself to work in that. That would be really stupid, but kind of funny. Well, I did a little bit of digging. A diesel Ford F750 straight frame starts at 81,000 US dollars. It's got beating inside of it a turbocharged 6.7 liter V8 that wants to rip your arms off like a Wookiee. The 300 horsepower is meh, but the 725 pound-feet of torque is going to be what gets the job done. It's also got a max gross vehicle weight of 37,000 pounds. Absolutely nuts. I'll be honest, unless if it just doesn't make sense for the job I'm trying to do, just let me use my Cascadia. I miss that thing. That thing drove nice. I kind of want to get one as like a toy one day. Just register it as a personal vehicle, not a commercial vehicle. Just use it to haul my cars or something. Just don't give me an international. I've had a bit of bad luck with those. Real street performance. If you're an OG and you want a bad 2J car, then you've got to go to the GOATs. But because the new Supra uses a B58 engine, we of course have to make some comparisons, which isn't easy to do for a few reasons. The gap in technology is near as makes no difference 2 decades apart, giving the BMW engine an edge, which some may see as unfair. But then again, the aftermarket has been pushing the 2JZ to the absolute limits of physics to squeeze every drop of power out of it since its inception, giving it an edge that some might see as unfair over the B58. So maybe it equals out, but either way, if someone were to make a comparison, Jay would be one of the first very qualified people I'd ask to compare the two. And that's just what he does in this video. The new Supra is a beastly car. but I still don't like the way it looks. But it's cool to hear someone as knowledgeable as him talk about these two engines. BMW! I love BMW, and I always will, even if not every car they make is to my liking. It's the one brand I've actually remained pretty loyal to. But something I have noticed across several generations of BMW M3s utilizing paddle-shifted transmissions is that limited production models receive bespoke tweaks to the transmission software to make them drive better that are never trickled down to the standard M cars that come in the following model years. The example I am probably the most familiar with is the E46 M3 SMG cars. The CSL version of the SMG is superior to the standard car to a ridiculous degree. When I updated the software on my car after a very annoying process, I must admit, I love it. And I've driven a BMW 8-speed, a 7-speed dual clutch, and a Huracan, but the SMG is really fun and raw and super easy to drive. There's just no complaints. It's not clunky, it's not uncomfortable, no complaints. But what's interesting is the E92 M3 7-speed dual clutch suffered a similar fate. The M3 GTS, as far as I understand it, received a refined gearbox tune over the standard car. And quite frankly, I was surprised when I learned this. But when you do the update, it reduces clutch slip at high RPMs, it makes gear changes smoother, it gives you better rev matching, pretty much everything the CSL software improves upon too. But the GTS software does it with the dual clutch. Why would BMW allow something like that to happen? Why would they not let that go into the standard cars afterwards? It just makes me wonder if the M4 GTS is in a similar situation. And it also kind of makes me wonder if the current M4 CSL has better transmission software than the standard cars. How weird. God, I'm either tired or intoxicated. I'm not, though. I've only had one drink, and it was a Seagram's. Golly. I think it's just because I woke up nauseous and sick this morning. I don't think I've recovered. Oh, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been talking kind of funny. Oh, I'm doing this all as my head is really foggy, my brain is spinning, I'm fumbling my words constantly. So I hope you appreciate these videos, because my ability to enunciate words properly is falling apart. It's like manually breathing, but with my vocal cords. Hey, remember that police captain that got pit maneuvered for driving like a lunatic in some kind of Kia sports car? You know, the guy that turned his lights on until only after the pit was completed? I understand that there are specific circumstances where officers may need to break traffic laws with their lights off, but I think it would have been prudent to communicate who was driving the car in some shape or form to the other officers in the area. Maybe this was preventable, maybe not. It is what it is. No one was hurt at the very least. Either way, the officer who pitted the guy isn't in trouble, thankfully, because there's no reasonable argument for penalizing him. I mean, the guy was speeding. He ran red lights. Apparently, the captain was in some big Avengers merger with other agencies related to gangs and stuff, and was trying to track down a violent crime suspect. Certainly an awkward situation. I'm just glad it didn't get escalated, because that's kind of what I expected to happen. I think we can all agree the media doesn't do cops any favors.
You kept insisting that the piece of paper you gave me had both. I go, I don't see it.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay, well then don't think. That's when people get into trouble, when they start thinking.
Really?
So you
Don't
you
think.
never gave me.
That's your advice. Don't think.